Hello YouTubers, so I just wanted to go over a quick final review of this surf prep now that I've got several hours on it. Here's my front door project that I did with it. So stripped the front doors and redid them, and the surf prep was, it didn't perform like I thought it should, but it did do well. It did help. I really liked it because it was small. It fit in some tiny areas. The profile sanding with the surf prep, I did some, but it would just hit the edges. It wouldn't get in all the grooves. I basically gave up with it, and I found a series of scrapers that were this right contour, and just literally used the scrapers on all the profiles. But I want to give a quick summary of this surf prep. So the things that I like is it's light, it's small, it's easy to handle. The foam pads are terrific. You have a variety of foam pads. The backer pads are amazing. The disadvantage, the abrasives suck. They're all right. When I got down to bare wood, they cut through bare wood pretty nice. But soft paint okay, but cutting through the varnish, I dulled more than I used. They just wouldn't cut. They wouldn't shave off the varnish. I actually used a ton of Festool pads on this sander to get through the varnish. Really disappointing. They need to make different plates for this. This plate is great, but as I showed earlier, it would have been really nice to have this plate extend out a little further, even though it extend out softly, so you can get in areas like this, which it was just missing on. So a little bit of a extension on this plate would have been great, or even a way to move plates. I was actually mounting the abrasive with the foam pad off the front of it. It was working, but it was lethargic, because with the foam pad, you lose some of the motion of this sander. Never got this to fit my vacuum. Never got to fit any vacuum in existence. This was supposed to be the Festool adapter. I showed earlier, it doesn't fit the small hoses, doesn't fit the big hoses. I don't know what it fits, but yeah, that was kind of a bummer. So I sucked dust the whole time. Other things, when you plugged into the Festool vac, the power button doesn't work. I just had to go plug it into a wall outlet. Then the power button works, but it was annoying because if you unplugged it and plugged it back in and you went to use it, it wouldn't start. You have to sit here, you have to hold the button for 2 seconds. And there were times I wanted to slow it down and speed it up. It seemed like it only had about 3 speeds. But again, it's completely stupid. You go to slow it down, and then it doesn't beep. It doesn't tell you what it's on. You just kind of look at pad speed, which is, I'm experienced enough to do that. But it would be nice if it was like beep, 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 or something. Again, it goes back to put a switch and dial on it. It would have just been so much more practical. And these buttons, you really got to press them. They're not positive click buttons. They're very mushy. You don't know if you hit them. It doesn't make a beep when you hit it. The whole button thing is a disaster. The switch, I like the switch. My son liked the switch. He thought it was cute, and I didn't mention anything to him. And the switch has gotten very sort of positive. It doesn't lay down anymore all the way into where it should. It kind of stops there, and then you have to push it down. It just feels bad now. I don't know what happened to the switch, but I mean, truthfully, I've used this for 3 hours. And he started hating the switch. I started hating the switch the more I used it. I thought it was really cool because you could just put your hand down on it and do it. And it's really neat if you're doing cabinet doors, I think, and you're working on a table. That it's ideal for. But when you're trying to sand something like this upright, and maybe you're coming down below and you want to hold the sander like this, no, you can't. You got to hold it like that. But now your knuckles are bashing against the floor or the side or something like that. So it needs a way to lock it on if you have this switch. So it's just going, and you can hold the sander in whatever direction you want, or over your head, or whatever, getting into a tight spot. This switch is just, again, it makes sense for one job, sanding like this on the counter. What else did I like and disliked? The semi-stiff pads like these worked out very well for me to do a final coat of sanding between coats of polyurethane. It did very well there. I thought it was ideal. It was small, it was light. I could do a quick shot between it, feather in where I had a drip mark. I really didn't like the performance there. That worked well. And you can see the edges of the pads where I was feathering out my drip marks because, you know, polyurethaning through angles and vertical surfaces are not necessarily fun. The container, I love the fact that it had a Festool container. And the other thing I didn't like, though, they gave you this area for abrasive pads, and this immediately explodes and sucks. There's just no good way to keep the pads. If you look at it, it's only the bottom third of the pad or quarter of the pad that sticks in the hole. This just immediately explodes. They should have really mounted the pads this way in foam that came up, maybe put them in and, you know, and had a light, medium, coarse, something. But this just, you can make this work, but it's really effort to make it work. But I do love the fact that it's a sustainer. It works with all my Festool sustainers. I'm going to keep it. Sandpaper even sustainers is questionable, so I guess this is kind of the best they could do, but it would have been nice if the foam came up maybe a little bit more to hold them better. I don't know what the answer is there. Or have the Surf Pro in another container for the sandpapers. But yeah, that's pretty much it on the Surf Pro and where I got. And I was expecting to strip this whole door with it and some other projects, and it really didn't work out that way. I wound up using maybe it 15% of the time. But when I did use it, it's a nice sander. It feels like it's well built. It works well. It strips. It does cut faster than the Festool sander because of the motion of it. As I said, I was able to use this with Festool abrasives and cut much faster than I was to use it with Surf Pro abrasives. So that made a nice combination, the Surf Pro with the Festool abrasives, because it did cut faster than the Festool 400. And the size was nice. It was nice to have a small square sander where like the Deltex and stuff is triangles, and this size felt good for me. That's really about it. So it didn't work out as well as I had hoped. It has its purpose. It's a very niche sander. And that's it. So thank you for watching.